An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with a chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship rogue trader Theodora von Valencias. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. My regards, Marshal. The Adeptus Arbites are famous for their unbending will and keen instinct for uncovering hidden webs of conspiracy and scheming. This is admittedly a priceless skill for someone destined for a path as special as yours. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor. There is, and you will meet him soon enough. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say that Her Ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencias are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Move your character by clicking LMB on a spot on the screen. A symbol will appear, and your character will move toward it. If the spot you chose is inaccessible, the symbol will appear in the closest accessible location. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard a void ship.
One of the Von Valencias trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening?
Lazarus Trek.
Find you soon enough.
Shoot, and don't let it get close.
Never wavered in the face of adversity. Already done. Suits my purposes. Not a problem for me. All too easy. Absolutely not.
Death to the heretics!
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
Tarantula sentry gun, constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus using a standard template construct in the manufactorums of Kievagama. The wires in the servitor's head are still smoldering. It would seem the cause of this malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. Lehman Russ battle tank, reclaimed and restored by the grace of the God Emperor, the first to breach the capital walls during the pacification of Vortezkton. A gray-green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. A strange object that resembles sea coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it has been underwater.
I'll lay claim to the star.
The stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within the rock. A massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. A black shard resembling obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. A violet alloy, which, upon closer examination, turns out to be a handcrafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface.
Follow my lead.
Glory to the Omnisaya, giver of knowledge.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad? Our second candidate has joined us. Approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Koronus Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? Thorough, but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyker who could serve me well for many years. Yet you speak of several.
Sanctioned psykers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you suggest that we use heretics, who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants. Even among his flock, not all are of a piece. I suggest you familiarize yourself with that fact before you are sorely...
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
So, why are you here? Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with Von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Well, his kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name Von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voigtvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Edelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here, in the Koronus Expanse. You were granted the rank of Marshal of the Adeptus Arbites. That is more than just a title. It stands for decades of perilous service, dozens of verdicts handed down, and exemplary loyalty to the Imperium. Your knowledge of the law and the fear you are capable of instilling are a path toward maintaining order in the Protectorate. Furthermore, the sternness of our justice must be impressed not just upon the dynasty's subjects, but also upon the many competitors who covet our possessions. They too must be kept in line. Moreover, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the Von Valancius dynasty, well, so much the better.
Your outstanding intellect is known beyond the bounds of your home system.
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers, and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Koronus Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House Von Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykad on the demand for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Geller field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. You can start by not asking questions of this sort. I have no need for sycophants. I will draw my conclusions when an opportunity to prove yourself arises. As for when you will be granted that opportunity, only the God Emperor knows. Is that so? Perhaps the technomaths were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller field. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is ancient. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. In that case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
Annihilate them!
Your Emperor won't save you!
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. I took care of this one.
Stay vigilant. For the glory of the Imperium!
Death to non-believers! Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Crush the feeble!
I serve the ruinous power!
You'll regret this! My tactics are flawless. Already done! Target! I took care of this one! Die! Forge ahead! Suits my purpose. Opposing me was your biggest mistake.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
Victory awaits!
The heretic's body is riddled with holes. An improvised single shotgun lies smoking in his hand.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Always on time, eh, Coonrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Mort, pull yourself together.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Voxmaster is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
Lunatics, fools, heretics. This ship houses thousands upon thousands of people. Pernicious thoughts and warp-induced delusions could have tainted any one of them. It is a difficult notion to accept, but such risks are inescapable. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psyker powers.
Then it's settled. Find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? Then move out! Mort, come.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear. Oh, Certainly. Lady Theodora would be devastated if she were to lose one of her precious heirs. But that is no longer relevant. Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful. How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warrant Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power, the sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates to the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel. There's a good boy. Then go to the Sentinel at the gates of the Warrant Chamber and fulfill your destiny. I had hoped to feed Edelthrad to the machine. He is the one who caught Theodora's eye, after all. But since procuring him has proved difficult, you will have to do. Did you forget something? I suggest you hurry.
Any type of digital computer in the Imperium of Mad.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance? Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
There is still another way!
The enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable.
Escort the child of the house to safety. Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Trekmaster, restore communication with the navigator's sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection. Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations. Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warren Sentinel standing by.
The sacred relic document that affirms the preeminent rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy.
Mobile unit of the Warren Sentinel, designed as a personal escort of the child of the house, and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by. Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the Warren chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
It's about time. Doubt is for the weak.
Run, fools, or fall! Master! Whatever are you doing in the Warren Chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me! What is the meaning of this? What? Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora. Saints' blood! Then it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense.
I don't have time for this.
Look no further. Let's patch you up. That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive. Lady Theodorus. Which one? The last one I received was about the navigator's sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course. You sent me a Vox message, specifically a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing? Warren Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort. The Warren Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same? During warp transit, the sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Imperium. And for good reason. For the navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the immaterium. Only a navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
An alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space.
Come.
To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor! Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared!
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved.
You make surrender to the gods, our offering.
Feel my wrath!
I've suffered worse.
Chaos guides me.
Brace yourself, Abelard. One fewer target. Victory is imminent.
Out of my way!
I bring ruin.
Nothing I can't do. Mutants! stand a chance. Not a problem for me. Just a minor setback. Indeed. I've suffered worse. Suits my purpose. Losing me was your biggest mistake.
This skill is affected by the fellowship characteristic. It represents a character's business sense and their ability to make profitable bargains. This skill is affected by the fellowship characteristic. It represents a character's talent to manipulate other people through negotiation. It allows a character to reach their desired goals in dialogues by making good impressions and peacefully convincing others to agree with their point.
Would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. Their voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abala, how they sing.
This is Imperialis, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valentius. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the Imperium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer. The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the engineering, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master cog, and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the Enginseer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
Officer's frequency. To all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather launch a counterattack.
That's Edelthrat. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelthrat's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it! You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud. And you are Von Valancius, one of Lady Theodora's heirs. Well then, we finally meet. What? You think Lady Theodora didn't ask me to peek into the darkness behind the backs of those she sees as her prospective heirs? I have seen you. I have seen the footsteps of your past and the wounds of your heart.
You survived a brush with the warp phenomenon sometime in your distant past.
Oh no. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
A fallen piece of debris that almost proved fatal to you. Without Edira's prediction, you would have remained in this corridor forever.
Here we go.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Death to the weak.
But of course.
Nothing I can't do. Already done. Nothing I can't do. It will be done. I will do like reduced to dust. Victory is imminent.
Anything else? Will do.
All too easy. Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Hold on!
I took care of this one.
I believe Master Vespider still lives. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive.
Wounded, exhausted, fighting back the endless horrors of the warp that are forcing their way into his head. Pick one.
Your time is short. Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn.
Ah! It came from beyond! His body is not his!
Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me. Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp. But it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help. The urge. Kneel before the ascent of a new champion. When the rite is complete, this shell will burst, and thousands of Moors will accept the sacrifice offered to the edge of daybreak by the bringer of twilight, the one marked by the gods.
A rite. A sacrifice offered. Oh, my heart tells me that Kunrad was not deterred by his defeat in the warrant chamber.
What? Kunrad betrayed Lady Theodora? Oh, but how is that? How? He was as loyal as a dog. And I didn't hear a thing, I swear.
The footfalls of the bringer of twilight are veiled by the will of his masters. Tear out your eyes. See who is to become the champion's servant, for you need them no longer.
You can't! It's only thanks to Master Spiders that we're still alive. If he falls, this whole ship is doomed. Let him do his duty. You know it's the last thing he'll ever do.
The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the servos gold relayed to us earlier.
Spiders, good luck. And thank you.
I won't tolerate weakness.
The Navigator's Sanctum is the private haven of the ship's guide through the warp, and a death trap for anyone left inside after translation to the Imperium. The door does not budge. Clots of viscous flesh have entangled the metal, sealing the door shut.
Ship's as good as ours! It's all over for you!
I shall pity not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot this!
I shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my Emperor.
Sister Argenta! Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face, it is unfamiliar. Who are you?
First time I've seen anybody on this ship talk to the little sister like that.
Allow me, Master. Sister Argenta, sacred warrior of the Adeptus Sororitas. Sister, this is Master von Valancius, a member of the Rogue Traders House.
The devout warriors who serve as the militant arm of the Adeptus Ministorum. As subject of the Imperium with a unique hereditary title, a rogue trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind.
The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the archenemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelstrad the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
If you speak truthfully, the Emperor will not forsake you. If you are lying, you will not escape his retribution.
The guide, the ruler, and the higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth.
I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic!
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain, and that story deserves its own time and conversation, under more appropriate circumstances.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
Massacre, my lord! And heretics are not just killing the crew. Some kind of blight is sweeping through the decks, filling the air. I saw people going mad the moment they breathed it in, screaming about seeing their dead comrades, tearing out their eyes. I implore you, my lord, be on your guard.
Through this door, I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
We will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
The door will not move an inch. It is blocked.
Annihilate them!
All of you will bleed!
Chaos guides me.
Not a problem for us. Nothing of value has been lost. Suits my purposes.
Oh, my ears are ringing.
Death to non-believers!
Such is the will of chaos!
At your beck and call.
It's nothing! As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak. None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Was that just... Will do. Anything else?
nothing I can't do. Indeed. One fewer target.
I serve the ruinous powers. I am your doom.
I serve the ruinous powers. Chaos guides me.
I'll do it. Faith without deeds is worthless.
There is movement in the Imperium.
On it. Will do.
I'm enraged!
Just a minor setback.
Make them bleed!
Out of my way!
As the Emperor commands, eradicated. Doubt is for the weak. Rejoice in battle! I'll do it. Strike is a prayer.
But of course.
Stop mocking me.
Death to the weak.
I shall not fear. All too easy. I'll live another day. At your beck and... It will be done. Reduced to dust!
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it.
A gust of otherworldly wind brings the smell of rot.
I'm not so sure.
Never wavered in the face of adversity. You didn't stand a chance. Already done.
Follow my lead.
As the Emperor commands.
An exact replica of the von Valancius void ship sits on the pedestal. Labels indicate the main compartments and decks of the vessel.
A new challenge for me?
Access
I rise
received.
to the occasion. I'll lay claim to the stars.
The cogitator is silent. It seems that its machine spirit is no longer being powered by the motive force. The Emperor protects. The cozy seating area is completely destroyed. Pieces of furniture and splinters are scattered everywhere, and dark stains cover the floor and upholstery.
The whisper told me a secret.
Not my specialty. Absolutely not. Victory awaits!
I better myself through my service. Follow my lead! An apparition. A sorceress. Apparition. Trickery of the warp.
Sister, you will lower your weapon. Threatening the Lord Captain is outrageous.
I doubt you are aware of the limits of what is possible. For your worldview is but an iota of what a rogue trader knows and sees. But I can tell that you would like me to share that knowledge with you. That power over reality. I can lead you out of these flames, show you a path, rid you of pain, and give you a weapon so that you may defeat your enemies. Decide.
Do not listen to this abomination. If there is naught but his light in your heart, if you are resolute in your faith, then step into the flames. The Emperor protects. His faithful will not be deterred by either darkness or deceitful promises. Nor will the fire burn those who carry the torch of faith in their soul.
To the void with you. We need to follow Lady Theodora before we suffocate in this furnace.
The people! The survivors from the middle decks! We must help the crew! Lead them out! Find a way around!
Then we'll miss our chance to meet up with Edel. What are we waiting for?
Master, can you hear me? Oh, you're alive. Which is more than I was expecting after what you just did.
Praise the Emperor. We passed through the flames. How can this be anything but a portent? For so it is said that the Emperor will bless the worthiest and most steadfast in their faith.
Your attempts at humor are inappropriate. You nearly got us all killed.
What happened to Lady Theodora? Did she follow us?
There was no Theodora, witch. There was an illusion, a temptation, a foul taint that tried to lead us astray. But he perceived its true nature.
Is that right, Adepta Sanctimony? The Lord's Captain standing there in the fire? Abela, you tell her.
Whatever it was, it matters no longer. Your conduct is bordering on madness, or holiness. A path opened behind you, where one moment there was fire, the next only smoldering embers remain. But what am I saying? My eyes must have deceived me. Too much smoke for my lungs. Truly, would you have received wounds like these if there had been no fire?
The wounds are merely a sign of a trial laudably passed. It is something to be proud of, the same as decorations or badges of honor.
Did my eyes deceive me? I could swear that I just witnessed you step out of a pillar of fire with the rest following in your wake. Indeed it is. Your wounds. Pray, forgive my insistence. I shall not be the one to doubt the faith of he who has passed the trial by fire. I have gathered everyone who answered the Vox call and was able to hold a weapon. Yet I do not see the Lord Captain or her arch-militant in our midst. We are still receiving messages in her voice, but she is not responding to direct requests. I last saw Lady Theodora on the observation platform. When did you and she part ways?
It was at this very elevator, Master Edelthran. The Lord Captain, accompanied by the Archmilitant, headed to her chambers to retrieve an item of particular import. After that, all we heard from her were Vox broadcasts.
This is troubling, and the timing is inopportune. I am still receiving fragmentary reports from the bridge. Kunrad Voigtvir was spotted there, and even what scant intelligence on his activities I have reminds me of descriptions of sorcerous rituals. If that traitor has resorted to witchcraft, we must stop him at once. A reasonable approach. Take your escort with you. You may be waylaid. Once you have found the Lord Captain, you must beg her to go to the bridge and lead the counterattack. The rogue trader's appearance is sure to fill the defenders' hearts with hope, however frightened or exhausted they may be. Until next we meet, may the Emperor bless your deeds. I shall see you on the field of battle.
None shall stand in my way.
Attention to detail is the key to success. Over there!
This clearly does not serve as a stateroom. The generators, machines, and crude wall paneling indicate that it is a maintenance module room rather than an area for receiving guests. The parlor organ seems to have been sitting idle for many years.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
A bizarre fragment hung on a trophy board. The light, smooth surface of the object is dotted with dark spots and crumbling holes. The murder scene looks like something caught the victims by surprise. No one had time to react to what was happening.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Lord Captain, who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere. It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here. And he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last. How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Arch-Militant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds. It doesn't work like that. I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in a warp.
An alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Imperium, the Empyrean, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space.
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces, drawing closer. Lady Theodora, and Conrad, and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure.
Tainted witchcraft. Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything.
Idira, you can't bring her back.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
Follow my lead!
More enemies
enemies to face judgment. We are truly blessed this day.
Your Emperor won't save you.
At your beck and call. It will be done.
Not a problem for me.
I'd rather not. I will do my duty.
Nothing I can do. Nothing of value has been lost.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Was that you?
An otherworldly screech pierces your ears.
A tactically sound approach.
Suits my purposes.
Even torture to fight like this!
All too easy.
Victory is in an exemplary strike.
Doubt is for the weak. I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deeds is worthless. I will not. Cover me!
Will do. On it.
It will be done.
My tactics are flawless. Already done.
At your beck and call.
Not a problem for me.
I don't have time for this.
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. As the Emperor commands, strike is a prayer.
We shall prevail. It's about time.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
You are here. But where is the Lord Captain? God Emperor, preserve us. The rogue traitor is dead. The ship has lost her Lord Captain, and the house its head. No matter what ritual Kunrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second. The warp is ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the Warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed.
I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. Enough talking rubbish. The navigator's alive and ready to take the ship out of the warp, if he gets some help from the bridge.
Then we have no right to bow our heads. We are out of time. No. To die altogether is to allow the flame of the dynasty to perish in the dark. No. It will not be like this. Not today. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it. And you, see to it that the void ship breaks free from the warp. Watch over our realm. And farewell. Accursed traitor! A time will come when you will bleed for her ladyship Theodora's murder! Remember my words, for they are the vow of he who marches toward his death!
What? Theodora is dead? No, that can't be. Not now. I still haven't.
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
I will deliver furious retribution!
Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes. Indeed.
Chaos guides me.
This is unacceptable.
To use the unique abilities called heroic acts or desperate measures, momentum is required. Depending on the actions of your party in combat, the momentum bar will increase or decrease. A high momentum value allows a character to use a heroic act. A low value grants access to desperate measures. Both abilities can completely change the course of a battle, but every party member can either use one or the other and only once in a single combat.
Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it.
I know what is to come. But of course, very well. Will do. My prescience has failed me.
Victory is imminent. I will do my duty. No matter the cost. At your beck and call. It will be done. Someone else can do this.
I am not you. Death to non-believers. Crush the feeble.
Nothing I can't do. All too easy. Losing me was your biggest mistake.
I will endure.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Enjoy your luck while you still draw breath.
At your beck and call.
Nothing I can't do. Let's see how they respond to this.
Pain cleanses the body. I'll do it.
High momentum.
The whispers must be appeased. Anything else? Was that you? Or anything else? Whispers calls to me.
Do I need to do everything myself?
Brace yourself, Avalon. Victory is imminent. At your beck and call.
Suits my purposes.
Doubt is for the weak.
Who even taught you to fight like this?
It's nothing. I'll do it. I refuse. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
You'll regret this. Not a problem for me.
I'm always ready.
Victory awaits. A new challenge for me?
We won? We won.
The air is dead. Rover, Master Helmsman, Systems Status Report.
By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal! Living and breathing. Well, there's a tricky question. The old place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long.
Restore the Vox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. You may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence.
Mortal, who are you to oppose the very flows of fate? It matters not. Your footfalls are an echo of the sand pouring between the scales. Your hopes and faith are my mockery.
The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured, and the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me.
The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine.
Seneschal, the Navigator's Sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means...
The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory, along with that of all who died this day.
Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision, it is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the Warrant of Trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim... have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live.
The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived. To hang the ancestral banners once again, and exact vengeance on the enemies of House von Valancius and humanity.
You steeled your soul with your faith in the God Emperor and walked through the flames on the officer's deck just in time to rendezvous with Edelthrad. A supernatural entity, God of all knowledge, worshipped by the Adeptus Mechanicus. the massive void port on the edge of the Koronus Expanse, and a notorious hotbed of vice, trade, and rogue trader intrigue. Sensor technology that allows void ships to scan planets, spot enemies, and obtain various other kinds of crucial data at great distances. The secret organization tasked with hunting down the myriad threats to the stability of the Imperium and all mankind. A potent alcoholic drink of varying quality, widely available across the Imperium. A human tabletop game played across the Imperium of Man, similar to the ancient Terran game of chess.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain? Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have. Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it. All right, that's what I'm here for after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now. All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you. Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, Rogue Trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now... All right, let's hear what they're... I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abela, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice. Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Koronus Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
The psychic beacon that helps navigators to triangulate a course for their void ships through the warp.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psykers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention. It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, all right? Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psykers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time. Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. And as I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then, Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered their guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So, I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the von Valancius dynasty. A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. After some amass. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy. Of course, Lord Captain. You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrived at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star. The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices, ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head. Of course, always at your service, whenever you need me.
Rogue trader. Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about? It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter. Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me. Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, For nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of faults and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul. Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful. Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge. And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it? The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parson Mr. Wayne, the station's founder. None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy. Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness. I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader. The accursed servants of Chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the Rogue Trader could meet with the orphans? I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart.
A division of the ecclesiarchy responsible for the upbringing, education, and training of orphans of those officers and nobles who have died in the service of the Imperium.
Lord Captain? As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know? I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps. I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, "I used to be" is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I'm still an officer of the Imperium. I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue traders' army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue traders' personal counsel. It was a difficult choice for me, but I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force, one who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse. What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless. You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. The Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world, and which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue. The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank. Of course. A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you. In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Koronus Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Caligos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Koronus Expanse. This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words, the Koronus Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Koronus Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Koronus Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier. You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight. We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Valancius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps. As you wish, Lord Captain. I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates. Lord Captain.
The ticking of the clock is too quiet for its bulky size. The parlor organ seems to have been sitting idle for many years. Ballistic skill, BS, enhances the effectiveness of attacks with ranged weapons, increasing hit chance and critical hit chance. Ranged combat abilities often benefit from a high ballistic skill. The rulers of the Adeptus Mechanicus, they revere technology as the object of their devotion. They direct the endeavors of fabrication and lead the followers of the machine god in unforgiving crusades of ruthless acquisition.